saw this was ripening because it came off the vine somewhere. We've got another one here and another one there. Well, if this tastes good, that's the best luck I've ever had, because I've only had little ones and they tasted horrible. This year I actually planted my cantaloupe on the edge of one of my raised beds going up a cattle panel arch, and it worked pretty well. They were pretty juicy and good, and the seeds I used were getting old, so I decided to save, raccoons got that I think. I decided to save the seeds from this cantaloupe so I can grow it again next year in the same way. I just fish them out and kind of shoot them out through my thumb and index finger, and that usually gets all the crap off of it, and then I store it on a paper towel overnight and it's ready to save. Second round, doing pretty good. We got like 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna harvest this one today. 5, 6, 7. Yeah, like 7 or 8 of them. So it's doing really good, even with powdery mildew. 𝐃𝐨𝐬𝐵𝐿 is a very vigorous squash vine. It makes humongous bat-like fruits on it. If you harvest them when they're young and green, they taste like zucchini. And if you wait till they're fully mature and tan like this, they taste like butternut squash, like a lot of winter squashes do. I think I had 2 or 3 vines of this, and it was more than I needed. In fact, I finally pulled the last bit of it because I just didn't need any more. And I had a lot of squash vine borers in the vines. The plant in places looked great still, but it was gonna kill the plant eventually. And like I said in my last week's video, my butternut squash didn't perform that well, so I'm glad I had this as a substitute because I need my pumpkin bread. This time I decided to chunk it because there were crazy snaky shapes and I couldn't fit it all on the cookie sheets, so they wouldn't have fit in my oven. I still have 2 more that I think I'm gonna maybe can. But as far as this batch, I put it on a full line cookie sheet, put it in a 400-degree oven for about 20 minutes until they were tender, and then I mashed them up with my stick blender, put them in vacuum seal bags, and vacuum sealed them shut with 15 ounces in them. If you want to see all that, go to my last week's video. 2 of these are going in here. We gotta make freezer space. Making sauce because it's easy. I can tell I was real over preserving things this day because I was just like, throw it in the pot, I don't care. That's been cooking all night and my legs hurt a lot from working today, but why not torture myself with some food mail action? I know some of y'all are like, oh, there's nutrition in the seeds and skins. Well, we don't like it, so we don't like extra nutrition here. This is why this challenge is indeed a challenge, because I don't want to come home every day and stand for even longer and preserve all the crap I grew. And then I'm gonna have to cook all this down some more. I do love that we have things preserved from our own garden that we grew, whether it be meat or vegetables, but I'm very tired at the end of the day, especially in the heat that just takes it out of you. Alright, there it is. I'm gonna thicken it. I'm just gonna bring it back up to 200 degrees and leave it for hours with the lid off so it doesn't create condensation and make it thin again. Okay, I've added a tablespoon of lemon juice. Some of my headspace is off now, so I'm gonna have to adjust that to each of these, and I'm gonna add a half tablespoon. I'm gonna try to do this one-handed. I didn't want to get my camera out. Oh goodness. Okay, I made it. Okay. I've been canning, I don't know how many years now, but somebody asked me just like 2 years ago, I think, why do you have to maintain a certain headspace? And I was like, you know, I don't know. So I had to look it up. And it has to do with the vacuum properties of the airspace and the lid and everything, and how dense the stuff in the can is. So that's why. Make sure you wipe the rims of every single one of these jars, no matter what it is. It's just a good practice. And then wash your lids before you put them on. They're now made of silicone. They used to be made of rubber. So if you canned way back when, it's changed now. So you may want to look into all the rules. I water bath canned these for 30 minutes. I didn't can all the tomato sauce. I actually did this next part first. Right here, chili base. I've got some peppers from the garden, sugar rush peach, jalapenos, and poblanos. And then I have some poblanos from last year. So I'm going to get those thawed. And I have chilies and adobo. So what I'm doing with the tomato sauce is making a chili base from Steve Rinella's book, Meat Eater. Just the liquids and spices that go in this, so I'm not going to put the meat in there, so it's just going to be the base. It's so much easier when you have everything measured out and already in there and you can just dump it in. I'm just starting off getting the rest of the poblanos de-seeded and chopped. My poblanos were pretty small, but I think the last time I grew them they were too. I don't know if it's something I'm doing or not doing, but I can use them just like this. As much as I say I want to make chili rellenos, I don't. It's too involved. I've decided that the limiting factor is the ancho chili. So I'm going to just go with 4 for now. Funnel. So in with the poblanos. It's supposed to be 3 large poblanos.
Hold it wrong, son. Not like this. You always do it like this. Smooth.
They probably have a little pull thing. If you're making this chili from scratch, you would saute the poblanos and the onions, because even when the chili cooks for a while, it doesn't really break down those peppers enough to make them soft. And that's why you'd saute them. I know from experience that the canning process will cook those poblanos down enough. And then 1 large onion chopped. This is onions from the garden this year. We want 6 garlic things in each one of these. That's an elephant garlic, the only one that survived this year. These are all from last year, so I'm going to get those chopped. We're going to add 2 tablespoons of ancho chili powder, which all of these peppers have a different name when they're dried than they are growing in the garden. I can't remember which one ancho is. It might be a poblano. Did I say 2 tablespoons? Yes. Or to taste. Like, I'm not gonna taste it like this. 1.5 tablespoons of ground cumin. Clean this off on my pants. Okay. Hopefully I remember. Just 1 each, and then I'll come back for the half. 1 teaspoon of dried oregano. I'll have to keep track of how much tomato sauce actually fits in here, so that I can write it on the lid what other ingredients I need. Whole tomatoes, preferably in tomato puree. So I'm just taking care of the puree part, but it wants 3 14.5-ounce cans. So, and we need 3 tablespoons of minced chilies in adobo. Now this comes in a can, and it's kind of annoying to not use the rest of the can, so that's why we save them in this. Now I don't have to have these in the freezer. Oh, these aren't chopped. I'm gonna have to chop these. Okay, what I'm gonna do is just stick the scissors in there and try not to hit the bag. And just cut up these chili peppers in here. It's actually chipotle peppers in adobo, but chipotle just means smoked jalapeno. I don't like a lot of chipotle flavors. Love jalapenos. But this in the adobo sauce, oh, I love it. Okay, 1. Oops. 2, there goes my clean lid. And 3, and I'll do the same thing for the rest of these. I may have to open a can of chilies in adobo. This is what they usually look like. I think this will make enough for the last 2 jars. If it makes over that, then I'll just dole it out equally. And I like that scissor chopping method, so I'm going to do that. I'm just going to spoon some of this sauce. I say spoon, I'm going to ladle it into my jars and see how much I end up with. I can't remember how many cups this ladle is. Yeah, it's probably like 1.5 cups. Alright, I'm going to use the chopstick method and just kind of move stuff around in there. This is probably going to be about 2 of these ladles. I'm going to say like 2 cups. That's what it looks like. Beautiful. 1-inch headspace. 90-minute processing in the pressure canner. I followed the headspace and processing time for some kind of vegetable soup in the ball canning book. Usually it's 75 to 90 minutes, so I went 90. Despite me using a lot of ingredients and being so excited about having a chili base, 2 of my 4 jars did not seal. I'm not sure why. I cooked it for way too freaking long to waste it. So I put it in a vacuum seal bag and stuck it in the freezer. Guess what I have? More tomatoes. And I have another bag in the freezer. So I'm gonna make diced tomatoes. That's what I've been intending on doing. I'm just gonna pour these out. I have a stopper in there. This water's gonna be freezing. And I will peel these and be back with you in like, I don't know how long this is going to take. It's going to be a while. I'm going to dice these, take off any bad spots, and then I'm going to keep the water so that I can fill the cans with the rest of that. I also have to add some acidity to it. Freezing the tomatoes gives them a different kind of consistency, so when I'm chopping them, I usually stick with bigger chunks of them. 1 tablespoon lemon juice. I'm going to pressure can for 10 minutes. 1-inch headspace. come to room temperature before I can them. I grow a ton of tomatoes, and I didn't actually have the most productive year, but believe it or not, I had one more bag of tomatoes. I threw them in to make another quick sauce, and that is the last of my tomatoes. We're making peach salsa. I'm making it from the Ball Canyon book. I did not grow this bell pepper because I didn't grow any bell peppers this year. I think maybe I forgot. Now on to cilantro. Of course we can't grow this anytime but early spring in the fall. I love cilantro. I know my grandmama loves it too. My husband got these in our grocery store. A lot of them go on sale for $2 if they're getting old. And we buy it for the pigs a lot of times. So I got the hardest ones I could find out of the bags. And some of them ain't that hard. So I think they'll be pretty hard to peel like the boiling way. And just like a tomato where you can slip off the skin. So I think I'm going to have to do it with a knife. You're supposed to have 4 jalapenos finely chopped. And this is some jalapeno that we actually put in the food processor. Add it to this. The peaches chopped. Some of these are rather ripe. I also need 1.25 cups of red onions. This is from my garden this spring. And then from 2 years ago, a clove of garlic. Oh look, a loose one. Perf. Add that to the pot. We need 2 tablespoons of liquid honey. I should have sprayed that so it'd come out easier. And a little grow on. We used to have our own bees. This is from the guy who bought our bees. We need 1.5 teaspoons of cumin. And 1/2 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. I would use my own cayennes, but I haven't like blitzed them down to powder. I just have them as crushed red pepper. Then we need 1/2 cup of white vinegar. Hopefully this will all stir around pretty well. You are going to put this in a pan, so all those onions will thaw. We're supposed to have this on medium-high. While that heats up, I'm going to do all the dishes I just made. Then in a blender or with an immersion blender, blend to your heart's desire. Okay, it's starting to boil, so I need to turn this down. Reduce heat and boil gently for about 5 minutes to thicken. I'm going to get my water bath here. This is a tamale steamer, and it works really well for water bath canning. It's been 5 minutes and it's thickened up. Now I'm going to get this can, filling these to a 1/2 inch headspace. It should make about 8, but I always at least clean an extra one, if not more. I don't think it's going to make as many as it says, but we shall see. Well, it would have made 8 if I had read the directions, because it was 8 half pints and I'm using a pint jar. Here's what they look like. They look gross, but they'll probably be good. Honestly, I don't know why I use any ball canning recipes, because to me they're not good. This is so bland. It's just all sugar. I suppose I'll try it as a marinade on some kind of meat. We'll see. These are not real spicy. They taste like a bell pepper with a little bit of spice. These are Sugar Rush Peach. But they're worth keeping if I want to make something a little spicy that calls for bell pepper. I got it covered. These were all over homesteading channels a couple years ago, and I saw them in the catalog and I was like, I'm gonna try those. At the time I was still thinking that they weren't that spicy, and then I tried another one and I was like, this one's a lot spicier. I'm not gonna say they're like ridiculously hot. Habanero Serrano kind of range. Also, because I didn't think they were very hot, I didn't wear gloves or anything, and for the next couple days my fingers were a little spicy. I've mentioned it quite a few times, making omelets out of like the leftover ham and onions and stuff. I was intending this for omelets because we have so many eggs coming in. We tend to have omelets quite a few times. If you're new to the channel, I make farm, garden, and kitchen work content, so make sure you're subscribed to see the garden this weekend. If you like this video, feel free to subscribe. I upload some Wednesdays and all Sundays, and you can keep watching us grow our farm. Have a good one.